Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in today's video we are going to look at a product from Viridian Weapon Technologies. This is the C5L custom weapon light, again from Viridian, who is a company whose products I've looked at quite a bit at this point on my channel. Number of different products, I've seen them at SHOT Show. I love Viridian because they're all about the green. I have come at this point to really appreciate green dots, much more than red dots. It's not that red dots don't have their place, but to me, my eye likes the green. I definitely prefer it, and that's where Viridian specializes. And this particular weapon light, I think, is going to have some features that are a little bit different, and in some ways quite a bit different than the competition. They're changing things up a bit. They're adding new features that I really like, and I can't wait to see how this will perform. Now, I will be coupling this specifically with my SIG P365. This is an XL that I've kind of built out to be like an X macro. So you'll see that it does have a pick rail. It's a nice compact firearm, and I think this C5L will be the absolute perfect solution for my weapon light needs. And so we're gonna go through this in detail, but with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Viridian Weapon Technologies who did provide this for review. And if you like what you see here today, do me a favor. Take a look in the description box below where you can find all of the relevant links for where you can find yourself one of these awesome C5L weapon lights. If everything goes according to plan and this performs the way I hope it's going to, well, this might be a weapon light for you. So again, take a look in the description box below. And so as we get into this here, I am actually pretty excited for this for a couple of reasons. First is this has the ability to charge a little bit different than other options out there. And I think you're going to see that this really does leave this in a very flexible and versatile situation for your home self-defense handgun needs. There is definitely one thing I've said about very many weapon lights, and especially rechargeable weapon lights. It's very difficult to have them mounted and charge your firearm to leave it in a place where it is safe and inaccessible. So, you know, I really don't want to leave this on my desktop. I want to put it in my safe, but I don't have power in my safe. So how do I recharge my light? Does that mean you have to take it off? And then it's kind of a pain in the neck and defeats the purpose in the first place. So this, I think, is a solution to that. And the beam pattern should also be a little bit different. And it's the light access and the quick access to turning on that I think you're going to find is absolutely an advantage. And so as we get into this here, again, Viridian is a company whose products I've looked at quite a bit, and they're always just very nicely made, excellent quality, great attention to detail. But I go back to my original point, which it is the green that I greatly enjoy. And so the features on this particular light, well, first off, we end up with a 550 lumen, 270 lumen, or 120 lumen output, depending on if you want the high, medium, or low. We end up with an overall maximum candela at the 550 lumens at 26,000 candela, which means you have a range of roughly about 228 meters. As we open this up, you'll see we end up with a battery, which is pretty much like a power bank. The charging cable, which has a proprietary magnetized end, but that's an important feature for this system. Tools and spare hardware. And then the light itself, which is fairly compact, all things considered. Viridian always doing an amazing job with their quality and the fit and finish. Just a beautiful, really small, yet hopefully effective little light. But before I get past it, I mean, just look at how cool the box is. I love the attention to detail, that bright neon on the inside. the black outline. It's just a good looking package. Viridian really does bring it when it comes to their overall presentation and the quality of what they bring. Now again, the battery has an internal battery, but it is rechargeable with that magnetic charging port. And so that does really require us at this point to check out the power bank, which comes with another USB type A, but USB type A to, and that's very strange. It actually is micro USB. I'm sort of surprised, but this is to charge the power bank itself. A 3.7 volt, 5,000 milliamp hour power bank battery, which they're saying is the safe charge system. So you can see on the bottom, this is where you charge it. This is where you plug in your magnetized cable, and then your power button, which when I press this, you can see 4 green lights indicating this is fully charged and ready to go. And this is where some of the beauty of this system lies, in the charging system. Imagine having the ability to mount this battery inside your safe, which for me, this is not magnetized, but I do potentially see putting sort of a sticky back on here, either a double-sided tape, or you might be able to get away with some, sticky magnet on here. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do, but I will certainly figure that out. Plugging in the cable, and then this is pretty quick to drop right on there. You'll see pretty much mates up almost automatically. I can pretty much drop this thing and it's gonna land on there. As you take a look, and it's a little hard to see, but there is a red light indicating that this is charging. But the light operation itself, single press, I'm single pressing on the left-hand side, you can see the laser. Now, this laser is a green laser, of course. This is less than 5 milliwatts. So it is not incredibly dangerous in terms of the power in your eyes, but of course you want to avoid getting this, in direct contact with your eyes. This is also a 515 to 532 nanometer beam. They do say that this will have up to 100 yards of range in the daylight, which I think is crazy. And additionally, up to 2 miles at night. So single pressing on the right-hand side, single pressing on the left-hand side, double pressing here, double pressing, going through the modes. You can see the laser is still on, but as I double press there, low, medium, high. The low mode here, again, 120 lumens. This will have 60 minutes of runtime and about 105 meters of throw, which translates to around 5,566 candela. Pressing again with both buttons. This here is the medium mode. So this is 270 lumens, 30 minutes of runtime, 160 meters of throw, translating to 12,800 candela. I can kind of start to feel the warmth on my hand. Pressing again, the high, 550 lumens, 10 minutes of runtime, 228 meters of throw, translating to 26,000 candela. Another quick press, here's your strobe, and back to the laser. Now that I've left it in this mode, you can see it leaves off where it last was. So if I leave it in the high, turn it off, and back on, it comes on in high with that laser. So as you take a look here, you can see this has a quick start guide. So basic quick start guide. This talks about the complete system, which this can leverage a holster specific to this and aid in the overall system. Here's your registration card, a Viridian sticker, and the cleaning cloth, but oddly is there's no real instructions. Now we're going to start to work on mounting this. I would like to point out for the posterity of the video, this is completely empty. Nothing in here, fully cleared. And let's get this mounted up. Now, if you take a look at the box itself, it does say fits the SIG P365. which to me says it will fit the P365 grip module, which if you know anything about the SIG P365, this is a proprietary rail and really is limited to many weapon lights. So the fact that this will fit on here is pretty cool. And so you do end up with 2 hex keys, one of which, oh, I lied, it's 3. One of which should really loosen this up and allow you to open up the jaws. And then the other is going to be for your elevation and windage adjustments. And it seems as though they did give you 2 of them. And then I believe what they're giving you is sort of a spare jaw clamp bolt and spring in case you need it. So if you notice, there are no keys inside here. Usually the little sort of bump that sticks up, well, that's called a key. And you'll notice there is none, which does allow this to fully sit and index on the SIG P365. And that will definitely grip on there nicely, very nicely in fact, and give you the perfect open trigger well without any intrusion of the paddles and low profile buttons that are going to be difficult to accidentally or negligently discharge. And so now onto the XL, which kind of will be functioning more like an X macro. Oh, I don't really like this. And this doesn't really work very well for me. I'm not a big fan. And that's very misfortunate. Unfortunately, due to the length of the rail here, you'll notice that sticks way off. So that's not going to work for this particular firearm. You'll notice that this here does have a cutout. And so that cutout is meant for a shorter sort of front rail on the grip module. You'll notice there is fundamentally a difference in length between the P365 and the XL. And that's the difference between the Viridian weapon light fitting this and not fitting on the X macro. And so for the sake of the testing, at this point, I will be dropping off my X macro grip module and going to the XL. Which at this point, man, this just looks and feels funny to me. I am so used to this nice sized, just full handled grip module, and this just doesn't cut it. But in the name of science, well, you can see now that, you know, this portion of the slide is exposed underneath, and this indexes perfectly, and you can see that little raised lip right there. And this is going to sit on here. Again, just ever so perfect. Will tighten up, which very simple. Nice hardware. Everything grabbing. Just got to be a little bit careful that everything's seated properly. That sits right inside. There we go. And so now with this mounted, that fits very nice. You'll notice that it is pretty much flush to the muzzle end. So it does not protrude past, maybe just a little bit shy there. Awesome open trigger well, perfectly open, curving nicely. Good shape, excellent size, and definitely fits this very well. Killing the lights here, momentary press. You'll see that I did leave it in that strobe mode. So now if I double press, that's laser only. And you can see that very bright laser. It's actually enough to fully illuminate the room for me. Even though there are no lights on in here, with that laser, I literally can see everything. That is awesome. Super bright. And once we get this dialed in for elevation and windage, that is going to be a very effective tool. Pressing both buttons, that there is the low mode. And that's actually low with just the flashlight. There is no laser beam. Medium, high, back to the laser with low, laser with medium, laser with high, and that's the strobe. So I get it now. It's going through all the combinations. So laser, low, medium, and high without the laser, low, medium, and high with the laser, and then your strobe. So in other words, pick your mode and then set it. So if you just want the low, off and on, there you go. If I long press, it seems like there may not be any momentary here. So if I long press, usually that's going to be momentary, or if I quickly press, yeah, so there is no momentary on this particular weapon light, which is interesting. That could be a deal breaker for some people. Now, something that's going to be very difficult for you to see, this light is actually wider than it is tall. The beam pattern is intentionally wide and not tall to help illuminate your peripheral and from left to right, to basically aid in the target acquisition, to aid in your ability to see to the sides. And so this beam pattern is a little less than traditional to other weapon lights. And now I'm not necessarily going to do this on camera, but if you wanted to adjust your elevation and windage, you can do it here in a controlled environment before you go out to the range. The easiest way to do that is leveraging a laser bore cartridge. So this here, you can see as I press this, a red laser in this bore cartridge. Simply install it into your barrel, so into your chamber and into that breech. Get it set inside, and at that point, whenever you press the trigger, it will fire the laser. And in combination with the laser on the actual unit, so I would basically go through my modes and pick the laser only, which is right here. And at that point, I can leverage this bore cartridge to get the elevation and windage dialed in for my given needs. But the absolute benefit here, the fact that you can have your handgun in your safe and still be charging and ready to go at all times. So what I would do is, in a perfect world, put that double-sided sticky tape right there, get that mounted on the door right next to my firearm, keep this plugged in, and then when anything happens, as soon as you grab your firearm and pull it out, that charger is just going to drop off, and you're on your way with your weapon light fully charged and ready to go. Now, in addition to the light itself, keep in mind the fact that the actual holster that is part of this system allows the light to turn on automatically when you withdraw the firearm from the holster. That is a major function and capability of this particular system. So in other words, let's just say you were carrying appendix or you're carrying on your side. As soon as you draw that firearm, the light or the laser or whatever setting you have it on will activate. So again, this is a system that's completely different from other weapon lights that I've seen out there, both in terms of the functionality, the overall form, the way it works, the beam pattern, but that auto on feature when you withdraw this from the holster. Now you have to decide whether or not that's a feature that you want. Some people wouldn't want the light to come on automatically. It is my belief that that can be disabled, so you would have the option to leave that on or off depending on your preference. But all in all, definitely a cool weapon light. Now, I would definitely prefer to have had fit that on this particular grip module. Unfortunately, that did not happen today, but you can see it here fitting on my SIG P365XL. This definitely is effective and seems to work very well. And the other part of this would be I would absolutely have to field test this, bring it to the range, put some rounds down, and make sure that everything performs under stress and under shock to make sure that it would perform when you absolutely need it. But that was just a first look today. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you following along. Thank you so much to the people at Viridian Weapon Technologies who did provide this for review. If you guys like what you see here today, do me a favor. Look in the description box below where you can find all of the links for not only the C5L, but all other awesome Viridian products. I can say they're extremely well made, incredibly nice. I love the green. You probably will too, and I can say I absolutely recommend them. And if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless channel, which is more on my primary gear. On that channel, I cover everything from hiking, camping, backpacking experiences, all the gear that goes with it. So from sleep systems, shelter systems, knives, axes, backpacks, flashlights, you name it. That's my Outer Limitless YouTube channel. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.